Sleepy Hollow Season 3, Episode 4, Sisters Mills. I thought this was a pretty cool episode. I think, despite the name, I feel like it didn't focus as much on Abbie and Jenny as I would have expected it to. But it definitely had its moments where clearly it was a big focus. And we got some really interesting moments, especially from Jenny. Like, she was the one in this episode who I think had a lot to say compared to Abbie, who was kind of dealing with the case more than anything. But Jenny was there, like with the little girl. We have a scene where she's the little sister talking to the older sister, and I thought that was kind of cool. And she's talking about her experience as a younger sister to this young girl, and saying like, we'll both have more time with our sisters. So I thought that was actually really cool. Of course, we have Abbie telling Jenny that she found her father, which I love that scene. It was one of my favorites this episode because at first I was like, okay, she's going to say, like, I have something to tell you, and then the case is going to distract them. So when she said, I was like, yes, thank goodness they didn't do the TV thing where it's like, oh, you were going to say something really important that everyone wants to see, and then, like, the kids scream, like, 3 minutes before, and it's like, oh, great, now we get teased, and they don't actually talk about it. So I was glad they didn't do that. They instantly talk about it, and then we find out that Jenny doesn't care because she found it out 5 years ago, and we find out all this extra stuff that I'm assuming Abbie didn't know that at all. And it's like, oh, I found him 5 years ago. He's like remarried. He's got a new wife. He's got at least 2 children because I'm pretty sure she says children. So that was kind of crazy. It's like, and of course I'm in the same position as I'd like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. And then she's like, I was freaking out and hating myself for not telling you for 2 months and you've known for 5 years. So that was pretty interesting. And they do decide by the end that they aren't going to actually go to him, which I think they'll still end up doing it for whatever reason. They might even, I'm assuming it'll come back into play because of Pandora, because she finds out that Abbie's father is alive when they have, like, the hospital scene. So they're going to have to talk to him just to save him and his family at some point this season. So I'm actually looking forward to all of that weirdness and how they end up interacting with him and his family and just how that all plays out. But that was a great scene. It was like, she knew all this time, and it was just very surprising. And then, of course, the end where she's like, even during that scene when she's like, I never really hated him. I only hated him because of you. Because I think she mentioned she was like 3 years old. So she's like, I barely even remember the guy. So, it's really the only reason I hate him is because you hate him. So if you want to, meet the deadbeat, then go ahead. Just don't come crying to me. And then she apologized at the end where it was like, it's not 100% true because even without knowing someone, they left you. So that's still in your head no matter what, your sister may or may not say about that person and how they feel. You still have some feeling about the fact that they just took off from the family because it's not like she wasn't even born yet. She was there too, so it was still both of them that were left. So I definitely enjoyed that storyline and getting, that info. It was kind of funny at the same time when it first started because it was like, oh, I've known for, 5 years. And then it was like married with a wife, kids, and then it got much more serious because of like, the hating him because of this or because of that dialogue. But I definitely loved that. Just the way it all played out was really entertaining to me. The case itself was definitely pretty fun because we got to see pretty much everything about this season outside of like the stone was incorporated into this, at least in some way, because we had Abbie, Jenny, Ichabod, even Joe. He was the one who actually told them about the case to begin with. I believe his name is like Joe. I think he's Joe Jr., basically. Hopefully that's his first name as well. But they were all involved in it, at least he was like just the one who told them. But they were all involved in it. We have the director, like Abbie had like one scene where she talks with him, so he was involved. We had the Betsy Ross flashback, which was very prominent because she was actually dealing with the whole tooth fairy thing because her niece was sick, I believe. So that was pretty cool. We also got a surprising kiss between Betsy and Ichabod at the end of this episode where they are officially together. And that got me thinking, like, I'm pretty sure this is after everything with his wife. but I'm assuming it would have to be before that because he was still married when all of that stuff went down, or he was with her when he was on the battlefield and stuff. So I guess this is before he actually met um, Katrina, and he was with Betsy Ross. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing that play out, and hopefully, it's not 100% because they could easily go back and forth between some flashback episodes will be when they are together, and then some won't be because not everything is going to be like, oh, every case they have now just so happened to take place after that kiss, and it probably will. That's probably how it's actually going to end up being. But I'd love to see them kind of play around with that and see, like, okay, so this is an episode where the flashbacks are them as a couple, and then this is an episode of flashbacks with them not as a couple, and it's them, maybe just some of the flirtatious moments they may have had or something like that. So I'm looking forward to how they're going to play around with the flashbacks now that we've gotten this official relationship start between Betsy and Ichabod. And I'm still wondering, honestly, if she's going to end up somehow in the present. I don't think she will, but that just makes it more entertaining. Like, if she never comes to the present, something weird doesn't happen with Pandora, it'll be weird having a full season of a character who is strictly in flashbacks. I think that's a very interesting concept, and they might continue on with that, they might not, but either way, I like her character a lot because she's really cool, and I want to see her do some more fight scenes too, but I just like how they're doing that. It's like a main character who is only existing in the flashbacks. Like, it's only going to be her and Ichabod that exist. So I love that. I thought that was actually, it's just in my head every time I see her. Like, is she going to be in the present at some point, or is it only flashbacks? So I'm just wondering how that's going to play out throughout this season. Another really interesting thing is the Pandora stuff. We find out that she's from, her origin, it's kind of just a name because she's like, the Pandora figure is in a lot of different mythos, and she is from the same area that shows the prophecy that Abbie and Ichabod are actually destroyers. So that prophecy is continuing, which admittedly I kind of forgot that was even a part of the prophecy, but it's interesting. So I'm really looking forward to this whole them being destroyers things. Maybe it's just the fact that they fail, and that's why they're counted as destroyers, because they're supposed to be the protectors and everything. The witnesses are supposed to be the protectors, and they fail or something like that happens, and that's why they're considered destroyers. But I enjoyed this episode. It was fun to see the characters, Abbie and Ichabod have the interactions that they did. The monster in this episode was definitely very creepy and stuff, and I just liked the way it was invisible, but the way that they did it, like Paul Revere was like a dentist, which is one of my favorite scenes with Ichabod. Ichabod had two great scenes. Him as a teacher and that silly history lesson, I love that. But him at the end, after the flashback where he and Betsy kiss, was the funniest thing ever. I was laughing so much during that scene. Like, it started off really funny, and then the ending when he saw the text message of him on the eagle, and he was crying, that had me laughing really, really hard. I was like, is he actually crying? But he's so doped up, and he was like a gift, and he has like holding the woman's hand and stuff. I was laughing like crazy at that scene, and I love that for sure. And he was singing and stuff, and it was just really good. I love that scene for sure. It was a great comedy ending for this episode. It was really amazing. But overall, I think this was a really fun episode. I'm looking forward to this crossover thing. I've never watched Bones, but I'm, of course, going to be reviewing, I guess, technically both episodes just to talk about how, Abbie and Ichabod interact with the Bones characters. So I'm going to end up watching both those episodes that night because if it's a crossover, I want to see my characters in this other show. So looking forward to that, actually. And, I'm wondering if it's going to tie in, if both episodes are going to be Mystic-based or how they're going to play that. But either way, I'm excited. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And the big question I have is, with what they're doing with Pandora, it seems like every episode she somehow wins. So I want to know, like, your theories on how that tree is continuing to grow. Because this episode was the only episode where no one actually died. Like, the girl's soul wasn't completely stolen because they killed the beast at the end, so she's fine. So I want to know your theories about that. Like, how is she continuing sort of this chaos, and how is she getting more of these creatures to actually help her out, because that tree, that another flower blooms at the end. So is it just, just the chaos even of the small cases? Is that all it takes? Or, what exactly is it that's helping her continue? And it's probably that, just even the little bits of chaos is all it takes. Because they mentioned, like, if they told everyone it was an epidemic, just sheer chaos, madness across the entire city slash state, that would be exactly what Pandora wanted. So, in these, even in these little cases, is it really that much to help the tree grow, even if it's just a little? Every little bit counts for her. But I want to know your theory, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.